Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari. Okay, as I said, continuing chapter 11, picking up from text 44, I think, and I hope I've got that right. Hari Krishna. But before we begin, little test, if you want. Can anyone recall what we discussed yesterday? What was part of the discussion? I'm asking a question because I was just listening to the last part of yesterday's discussion, trying to find out what verse we left on. And it was quite interesting to hear. So I thought I'd just put you on the spot here. If you want, you could look, if you have the Bhagavad Gita there with you. And there's a particular point, a particular section in this chapter regards Arjuna. Well, I guess it regards Arjuna. I guess the whole Bhagavad Gita regards Arjuna. I give you a hint. He's paying obeisances from which direction?
From all directions.
Correct. 10 points, smaller one galactica. Yes. From the front, the side, and behind. Yep. And also, Arjuna is apologizing. Yesterday, he was apologizing. What was he apologizing for?
For treating Krishna in a friendly way.
Yeah. For treating Krishna like a friend, which he is to Arjuna, but seeing the universal form. And it mentioned in the purple where he will call him a mere Yadava, not the ruler, not the rulers of the globe, but the mere Yadava or Krishna without the epithet or Sri Krishna. Yeah? Sometimes joking with him at the cost of others as well. Seems like he would, like friends are wont to do, isn't it? Friends, when they get together, sometimes they cut jokes on each other's expense. So that will go on between Arjuna and Krishna. Yeah, I was looking for the word that describes friendship with a sense of awe and reverence. So I found that I came across it. Gauravya Sakya. Gauravya Sakya, if I pronounce that correctly. So that's friendship, which has got a sense of awe and reverence. But still, it seems like sometimes Arjuna would forget the reverential position of Krishna. And he would interact with him in a very informal way, which no doubt Krishna liked very much. But yes, so Arjuna was apologizing yesterday at 6 o'clock. Arjuna was apologizing like anything. And so then we pick it up from the Modern Mongol. You have your hand raised. There's two people in the waiting room. I better let them in. 1 second. Just got to go to the front door. Let them in. Look for the keyhole. Yes, we can let them in. Sounds lower Gayatri. Said two. All right, so let's then pick it up at text 43. Is that correct?
44, no?
44, okay. I think that's correct. I was a bit doubtful about that. Yes, so let's go with 44. Okay. So again, have a go at Sanskrit. You got the meter?
Yeah. Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadaye tvam aham isham idyam piteva putrasya sakheva sakhyai priyaha priyayarhashi deva sodum.
Yeah, that's fine. But if you want, those who want, they can use this meter if it fits. The verse looks slightly shorter, but let's try it. Tasmat pranamya panidaya kayam Prashadaye tvam aham ishamidyam. Ateva putrasya shkeva sakyo. Priyatmaya asmi deva sodam. Okay, makes
Thank you.
it easier to pronounce the verse actually if you get the meter.
That's the one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respect and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you and bear with me as a father with his son, or a friend with his friend, or a lover with his beloved. Purport. Krishna devotee relate to Krishna.
Which verse are you reading? Are you reading text 44?
Yeah, that's
Are
the
you
one.
reading from your own copy of Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah,
Okay, can you just read that verse again?
yeah. You are the Supreme Lord, to be the worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respects and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you, and bear with me as a father with his son, or a friend with his friend, or a lover with his beloved. Not the same?
No, it's a different, I think it's a different different edition of Gita.
Yeah.
So, just checking that was the case. And it wasn't the
Purple.
complete verse. Yeah.
Yeah, purport. Krishna's devotee relate to Krishna in various relationships. One might treat Krishna as a son, one might treat Krishna as a husband, as a friend, as a master, etc. Krishna and Arjuna are related in friendship, as the father tolerates, or the husband or the master tolerates, so Krishna tolerates.
Right. So Arjuna is using some very good logic here in asking for forgiveness from Krishna. Yeah. Okay,
This is from 1982.
Okay, that explains.
1972, 1982.
Yeah, that may explain it. In the first editions, the editors missed out on a lot of Prabhupada's actual audio transcriptions. So going back over it again, they found some anomalies. So the present edition we have is more accurate to what Prabhupada originally, despite what other people may say in the one of ISKCON's famous controversy. All right. Yeah.
It's a Singapore edition.
It's a what?
Singapore edition.
Singapore. Well, that shouldn't make any difference. It's the yeah. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Right, so Arjuna's continuing his apologies to Krishna. Yep. Any insights or questions here?
It's interesting that it says here that Krishna tolerates. But
Yes.
that doesn't mean take advantage of his tolerance.
Yeah, especially in relationship to an actual established kind of relationship to Krishna. If someone, for instance, in Sakya Ras or Vatsalya Ras or Madhurya Ras, especially in Sakya Ras, there's going to be oversteppings because of loving familiarity. So that's fine. But there are, for us sadhakas who are worshipping Krishna with awe and reverence, then there is rules and regulations to follow. Otherwise, it will be deemed as an offense. So we cannot take liberties. Sometimes devotees make that mistake and take liberties with the deity, or takes thinking, oh, it's okay. Krishna knows my heart, so I can overstep this, I can overstep that. But no, it could be an offense. Yeah. According to our relationship as a servant to the Supreme Lord, there's a certain way that we want to act. I think I might have said before, I have had experience where the curtains are closed. I close the curtains and I'm offering the Lord's Raj Bhoga or putting the Lord's to rest. And someone marches into the temple room and opens the curtains. to get darshan. I mean, there was one lady came in and she opened the curtains. I forget what I was doing. I'm offering Raj Bhoga, putting the Lord to rest. And obviously, I was a little bit taken aback and a little bit upset. And I kind of made the point that she shouldn't do that. And I quickly closed the curtains. And she kind of took offense to it. In other words, she was saying, Krishna knows my heart. So, no, we have to, in that respect, we have to say we have to respect the privacy of the deity. We are the Lord's servants. Yeah. Just like my spiritual master was just explaining on the podcast about etiquette. He was explaining that sometimes he's chanting the Lord's holy name, and disciple or devotees will come over and just start asking him questions. And then he's absorbed in the holy name. He's doing his he's chanting japa. Unless it's a dire emergency, which he says often it's not. And that's like disrespectful. But sometimes he's writing, and devotee bowls in and starts, asking this and asking that. Doesn't respect, just cannot read the situation. So sometimes he also gave the example where it's I think Jiva Goswami mentions this, that you shouldn't, from behind the back of the spiritual master, call his attention. It's considered disrespectful and therefore an offense. If the spiritual master is walking in front and you shout, "Hey, Guru Maharaj," then that's disrespectful to the Guru. So like that, there is things to be known. There is a culture of respect that is to be learned. So if we don't have this, this very intimate, informal relationship with Krishna, which we should consider that we don't, okay, then we should approach Krishna with great awe and reverence and be careful that we don't become over familiar. So we have to especially be careful that those who are serving the Lord, those who are going on the altar and dressing the Lord. Yeah, that's why we shouldn't speak when we're on the altar, definitely in the temple. Yeah, we shouldn't speak like, like we're hanging out, and because the Supreme Lord's there. We should be like, it should be like walking on eggshells, very careful what we say and what we do. That's in the temple. So anyway, without going into a Pujari seminar. All right. Any questions or comments on that? But good point, Madam Mongol, to bring out. Yeah, as the father tolerates her husband. So we cannot say this to Krishna, okay? Oh, don't worry, Krishna, about getting your Raj bowl. I'm going to cook it later. You know my heart. You know I love you, so you won't mind if I offer the offering half an hour late. No, I mean, aparad, seva aparad. Yeah. Hare Krishna. All right, let's have a look at the next verse. Perhaps Madhu Mongol, you could read this next verse as well. It's just a short purple. And please, if anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to unmute and ask. It seems like we're kind of quite unused to using a chat here, which is fine.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Let's see.
Okay, have
I
a
will
go.
try to sing it, but I am not sure if I will manage. But Adrishta Purvam Rishitosmi Trishva Vayena Cha Pravyatitam Namo Mame. No, Mano Mame. Tadeva me darshaya deva rupam Rashida deva jagan nivasha.
Yeah, very good. Jagadnivasha.
Translation. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I'm gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. Purport. Arjuna is always in confidence. in confidence with Krishna because he is a very dear friend, and as a dear friend is gladdened by his friend opulences. Arjuna is very joyful to see his friend. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and can show such a wonderful universal form. But at the same time, after seeing the universal form, he is afraid that he has committed so many offenses to Krishna out of his unalloyed friendship. Thus his mind is disturbed out of fear, although he had no reason to fear. Arjuna therefore is asking Krishna to show his Narayana form because he can assume any form. This universal form is material and temporary. As the material world is temporary, the material world is temporary. But in the Vaikuntha planet, he has his transcendental form with 4 hands as Narayana. There are innumerable planets in the spiritual sky, and in each of them Krishna is present by his planetary manifestation of different names. Does Arjuna desire to see one of the forms manifest in the Vaikuntha planets? Of course, in each Vaikuntha planet, the form of Narayana is 4-handed, and the 4-handed holds different symbols, the conch, mace, lotus, and disc. According to the different hands, these 4 things are held in the Narayanas. The Narayanas are named. All of these forms are one and the same to Krishna. Therefore, Arjuna requests to see his 4-hand features.
Good feature. Yeah. So any immediate curiosities or questions here? He's asking.
Is it Arjuna? Is Arjuna gets humbled when he sees Krishna's form? So the more he gets there with Krishna, the more he will become humble and realize that he is committing offenses, if I can say like that. Because he says always when he sees his form, he feels that he's committing offense.
Always when he sees his form. If I've understood
His
that,
Godhead form.
yeah, there's a mixture of emotion with Arjuna here. He's pleased, and Prabhupada mentions his friend, his bosom chum, his friend who has a very intimate relationship with happens to be the supreme all-pervading personality of Godhead, and he's just manifests this dramatic form. So at the same time, he's feeling overwhelmed, and it's a bit too much. So he wants to see the forearm form. Go on, try again, Modern One, but I didn't quite catch the question.
It says here, yeah, because it says, but at the same time, after seeing the universal form, he's afraid that he has committed so many offenses to Krishna. Like before, when he doesn't see that form, he feels more relaxed and like a friend. But then when he sees the form, then he realizes, oh, it is my friend, but I need to offer my respect in a appropriate way. Somehow he forgot that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if he knows. But the form makes him to surrender and kind of become even more humble and offer appropriate
basically,
respect.
if I can understand, unless anyone else can comment as well. Yes, this is exactly Arjuna's mentality. Yeah, it's after seeing the universal form that he reflects on how he's interacted with Krishna. But Krishna, he will, after this whole event, or in other words, Krishna's human-like interaction, which he is, his interaction is so personal and so sweet and so charming and so endearing that it's not hard for Arjuna to forget Krishna's actual position. Yeah. So much to the pleasure of Krishna, he becomes quite familiar with Krishna, which Krishna likes. There's that statement, like we have to be, again, back to this point of culture and etiquette. If we become over familiar with the spiritual master, and start treating him like a friend instead of the guru, then there can be offense, that's in the relationship of guru and disciple. But Arjuna, then his actual relationship with Krishna is one of Sakyaras, albeit with a sense of awe and reverence. But in other words, what you're saying, Madhumango, I would say is correct. Yeah. So he's seen the universal form and he's afraid. But point I'm making out here is that even though he sees the universal form, he will, because then the battle took place, and then Yudhisthira was installed as the emperor. And I don't think Krishna eventually went back to Dwarka, isn't it? And then the Yadavas, then the Pandus stayed in the capital. The point I'm trying to make, I'm philosophically speculating that even afterwards, if there was an interaction between Krishna and Arjuna, then Krishna would manifest very much his personal relationship with Arjuna. So he wouldn't be too much in awe and reverence, like bowing down before him every time he saw Krishna. Oh, my Lord, you are the all-pervading. No, that wouldn't be very good for their relationship. So Krishna will manifest his sweetness, and just like he did when anyone, perhaps I'll ask it, can anyone think of an example where one devotee became overwhelmed with Krishna's Aishvarya, and then Krishna didn't like it, so he manifested his Yogamaya potency? Again, there's one example. Comes from the Krishna book.
It's not when Krishna came on the planet, when he got born, and then in the prison he said, can you take your form again as a baby so we can take you out?
No, we could extrapolate in that pastime, but it's not the particular one I'm thinking of.
Is it Brahma? He just thought this is not Krishna, and then he realized, and he came to apologize, and Krishna didn't accept the apologies.
Who was that? I missed the first.
Brahma, when
Brahma. Yeah. Yeah, you could. Brahma went through different emotions there with Krishna and is apologizing. But again, I'm thinking it's not the example I'm thinking of. One of his devotees, a very dear devotee, became very awestruck by what they saw, and they was thinking that they then became quite philosophical. Who am I? Who is this boy, my son? What is this life? And then
Mother Yashoda, not Mother.
Yes, correct. Mother
Yeah.
Mongo. 10 points, Mother Mongo. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, Krishna manifest when Mother Yasoda looked within Krishna's mouth, she saw
in the mouth.
all the universe, all the universes, and then she saw herself looking into Krishna's mouth, and she became very philosophical. Very, because generally she's very simple. She's simple-hearted and 100% devoted to the welfare of Krishna. She's not a Gani, she's not a sage, she's not one of the Brahmins who's going to be speaking philosophy. She's more concerned if Krishna's going to get fed than she is about deep philosophy. But when she saw this, she became quite philosophical. Who am I in this world? What is this world? Who is this Krishna, my son? I am thinking I am the mother of Krishna. So Krishna thought, no, I don't like that. So then Krishna manifest even more his sweetness, and she looked at his beautiful eyes and his beautiful face, and all that melted into insignificance, and she took Krishna to her heart with tears in her eyes, and oh, this is my darling Krishna. And she forgot, and she didn't give any thought of what she just saw. She thought, oh, just something happened, something happened there, but it's not important. She's wiping, she's making sure the hairs are not in Krishna's eyes, and she's kissing his head, and she's holding him to her arms, and she's quite convinced at that point that Krishna is my darling son. So Krishna uses his yogamaya potency like that, you know. So same with Arjuna. He's seeing his universal form, and he's going to go back to the two-armed form here eventually. Yeah. Right. Any other comments or questions here? And if you want to read about the Narayan forms, they're all listed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's one chapter that lists all the Narayan forms, and it lists what each Narayan form and the combination of the conch, mace, lotus, and disc. Okay, each of Narayan forms are manifest on different Vaikuntha planets, and they hold these four symbols, but in different hands. So it describes that in quite some detail. I remember reading that. In this Vaikuntha form, the Lord has the conch shell in his left upper arm. In this Vaikuntha form, he has the conch shell in his lower right arm. It goes like that. It's quite technical. All right, perhaps someone else would like to read text 46.
Shall I read?
You can. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Kiritinam gadinam vachagra. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam. Ichchami tvam drashtum aham tathaiva. Tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena. Sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte.
Oh, very nice.
Translation.
Sounds like you know this verse. Go on.
No, I don't. I wish I did.
You said it very nicely. Go on.
O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and the lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form.
Mm.
In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Rama de Murti Shukala Niyame Natishtam. The Lord is eternally situated in hundreds and thousands of forms, and the main forms are those like Ram, Nrsimha, Narayan. There are innumerable forms, but Arjun knew that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, assuming his temporary universal form. He is now asking to see the form of Narayan, a spiritual form. This verse establishes without any doubt the statement of the Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all other features originate from him. He is not different from his plenary expansions, and he is God in any of his innumerable forms. In all these forms, he is fresh like a young man. That is the constant feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who knows Krishna becomes free at once from all contamination of the material world.
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions here or comments?
Well, he sees Narayan form, doesn't he? Because Krishna is in four hands.
Yeah.
So he's showing his Narayan form.
Yeah. It's interesting because perhaps I think the next verse in purple will reveal more when Krishna then reverts to his two-armed form. But here it might be a bit confusing because Prabhupada says here, okay, he says Arjuna knew that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All right, so he's established that. And it's from that Krishna form that the universal form is coming. Now he's asking to see the form of Narayan. And then he says, this verse establishes without any doubt the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all other features originate from him. A point here is, at least from my point here from reading this verse is not establishing Krishna, it's establishing Narayan, the four-armed form. But Prabhupada says here, this verse establishes without any doubt the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and all other features that originate from him. Whereas the verse is all about the four-armed Vishnu form. So, but Prabhupada does establish in the purport to begin with that Arjuna knew Krishna to be the original form. Does anyone know of that verse? Can anyone give a paraphrasing of the verse that Prabhupada is referring to in the Srimad Bhagavatam? I give the first lines, you might finish it. Eche kamsa kalapumsa.
Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam.
Yeah. Indriyani vyalokam. And the last line.
It's forgotten, sorry.
Vittayanti yuge yuge. So this verse is known as the what's it called? It's called the, what's the word for an important verse for which the whole Bhagavatam is based?
Key verse?
The Paribhasha Sutra. So this verse comes in the Bhagavatam where, I think it's the second canto, where all the different incarnations of the Lord are explained. And in a matter-of-fact way, it describes that Krishna and Balaram are also the 12th and 13th incarnation. And then at the end, it goes back and it says, actually, of all these incarnations, Ete Kamsa Kalapumsa, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the origin. And it's not the Ryan, it's not any other form, is the origin. So the original candle is Krishna. This is the verse Prabhupada is referring to here. So it's the Paribhasha Sutra, which means sometimes in the Bhagavatam, there might be a great glorification of, for instance, Lord Shiva, who sometimes he is addressed as Bhagavan. Yeah, so someone might mistake, oh, actually here it's saying that Shiva is the supreme, or it might be Narayan. Prayer is glorifying Narayan as the cause of all causes. But then, no, you have to go to the Paribhasha Sutra, and all the rest of the verse and the Bhagavatam should be understood in context with this most important verse. So it's a good verse to know when you cut, because a lot of people they put forward that Narayan is the supreme, that Narayan is the origin. And when he wants to play around a bit, then he takes the form of Krishna. When he wants, but the king is the king, but when he wants to go out and play, then he has another form, and that's Krishna. No, we say God is the supreme enjoyer of rasa, and his form actually is the complete combination of rasa in the form of Krishna. And when he creates, and that's his kind of identity, that's his major identity. And when he wants to create, then he expands himself into Vishnu forms. Like that. But it's interesting here. You can see the point we're making here. Prabhupada says this verse establishes without any doubt that the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna, the verse says, it doesn't say Krishna. It says it's about Vishnu. I think we better read on, huh? It might becomes more clear. Yeah. Right. Any questions or comments on that? Yeah, Arjuna wants to tone things down a bit. He wants to, okay, my Lord, please let me see your spiritual form, because the universal form is display of the material phenomena. So therefore it's temporary. So he wants to see a spiritual form. So Krishna's showing the form. All right, someone would like to read text 47? If not, perhaps you can read a couple of verses. Most devotees can do that. I can read the next verse as well. Otherwise, Kishore, you still there?
Yes, I can read. I was hoping somebody. Okay, I'll read.
No problem. We get the next verse someone can pick up.
Okay. Sri Bhagavana Uvacha Maya Prasannena Tavarjunedam Rupam Param Darshitatma Yogat Tejomayam Vishwamanantamadyam Yanme Twadanyena Drastapurvam. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, happily have I shown you by my internal potency, this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. Purport. Arjun wanted to see the universal form of the Supreme Lord. So Lord Krishna, out of his mercy upon his devotee Arjun, showed his universal form, full of effulgence and opulence. This form was glaring like the sun, and its many faces were rapidly changing. Krishna showed this form just to satisfy the desire of his friend Arjun. This form was manifested by Krishna through his internal potency, which is inconceivable by human speculation. No one has seen this universal form of the Lord before Arjun. But because the form was shown to Arjun, other devotees in the heavenly planets and in other planets in outer space could also see it. They had not seen it before, but because of Arjun, they were also able to see it. In other words, all the disciplic devotees of the Lord could see the universal form which was shown to Arjun by the mercy of Krishna. Someone has commented that this form was shown to Duryodhan also when Krishna went to Duryodhan to negotiate for peace. Unfortunately, Duryodhan did not accept the peace offer, but at that time, Krishna manifested some of his universal forms. But those forms are different from this one shown to Arjun. It is clearly said that no one had ever seen this form before. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, so by his internal potency, he is manifesting something which is material, the universal form. But in order to behold or to see it, then that's arranged by Krishna's internal potency. And I came across the other day in Mahabharata, so that when Krishna manifests a universal form to Duryodhan, or a partial universal form, he gave blessings to Dhritarashtra, who was blind. He gave blessings that he could see as well. So Dhritarashtra saw this universal form. Does anyone know as well? That's leading me to another thought that I remember hearing or reading in the Mahabharata, that Dhritarashtra was offered the ability to actually see the battle, but he declined for some reason. Does anyone know that particular pastime?
No, I just thought Sanjaya was
Sanjaya could see.
behind.
I remember hearing or reading, perhaps I might have been mistaken though, but that he was offered.
Yeah, he was offered, but then he passed it on to Sanjay.
All right,
saying that he lived his whole life blind, so he didn't want that vision.
All right.
Yeah.
Want it. All right, so he was offered it.
Yeah, he was.
I guess he was a bit, he was a bit uncertain about the outcome and didn't want to see the destruction.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, these 100 sons, they all got slaughtered. They all got killed by one person, Bhima.
Yeah.
He killed all the sons. But yeah, so anyway, so yes.
As I understand, at first Dhritarashtra, Vyasadeva asked Dhritarashtra, okay, I'll show you. And he didn't want to see anything about the fight at all. And then Vyasadeva offered Sanjaya. And even then, in the beginning, Dhritarashtra didn't want to know. But on the 10th day, when Bhishma fell, then he said, what happened, Sanjay? What happened in the Kurukshetra? And the Bhagavad Gita was then recited by Sanjay.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know. It's an interesting point. So then Sanjay then goes right from the beginning of the battle and describes to the Brahmin king that when Krishna drew the chariot between the midst of both armies.
Yeah, this is how I was told.
All right. Okay. That sounds kind of, yeah. Okay. Sounds all right. Yeah, I must admit that we must probably imagine that Dhritarashtra must have been quite some turmoil about the outcome of this whole battle. Yeah, sitting on the edge of his throne, so to speak.
I think he knew what was going to happen and he didn't want to accept it.
Yeah, interesting mentality of Dhritarashtra.
Mm.
Yeah, he seemed divine. It was, I think, in the Vidura Niti, when Vidura speaks to Dhritarashtra, I think Yudhisthira asked Vidura to go and speak sense to try and bring Dhritarashtra to good sense, the blind king, and Vidura goes and he gives this wonderful. It's called Vidura Niti. He gives these wonderful instructions, but still, I'm just I was trying to find it today actually because it's in connection with tomorrow's Srimad Bhagavatam verse. But Dhritarashtra at some point, or then he puts it down to fate. Yes, what you are saying, Vidura, all seems to make perfect sense, but I feel I'm being driven by the divine will of the Lord. And this battle is unstoppable. In one sense, it was, but he was blaming his ignorance on destiny. It's an interesting. It's interesting because he was blaming it on destiny, although in one sense it was destiny because it was arranged by Krishna, but he was using that destiny to remain in ignorance of the reality. So in that sense, he was culpable. It gets quite complicated. Just like if someone's in court and they've killed someone. Your Honor, it was the Lord made me do it. All right, we understand everything's controlled by the Lord, but you are culpable. That doesn't make you not culpable. Doesn't make you not subject to punishment for your grievous, for like what you have done. Yeah, so Dhritarashtra, he doesn't. It's interesting to read. And it wasn't just Vidura, there was other sages who came to Dhritarashtra and tried to point out, even there was bad omens everywhere on the side of the Kauravas, but they were so blinded by the passion of so blinded by greed and passion that they couldn't heed to the obvious inauspicious symptoms of their destruction. It was, yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions on that? Yeah, Mahabharat's very interesting to read it, about these different characters, materialistic in regards to Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra and Co. And then you got the Pandavas, very pious and great devotees, and how tolerant they are. Hare Krishna. All right, so let's have someone would like to read around text 40, unless there's anything else to bring out here from this text 47. Yeah, we've covered this before, isn't it? We're already aware that the demigods could see it, and also Prabhupada says here, all the Dislipic devotees of the Lord could see the universal form. All right, so that not just the demigods, but all the great devotees in the Dislipic succession. It seems that's what's being explained here. They could see this universal form. They're chanting Shanti, Shanti, let there be peace, let there be peace. All right, someone would like to read text 48.
Yeah, I can read.
Go ahead, thank you.
Text 48. Naveda yajna dhyayana nadana nachakri abir natapobir gray evam rupasakya aham nirloke drastum tvad anyena kuru pravira. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The divine vision in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have divine vision? Divine means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Vishnu Bhakta Smrto Daiva. Those who are atheistic, that is, those who do not believe in Vishnu or who recognize only the impersonal part of Krishna as the supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Krishna and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see like Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives the description of the universal form. Although this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna, now one can have some idea of the Vishvarupa after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord, but one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Krishna. The devotees, however, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision, are not very much interested in seeing the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the four-armed form of Lord Krishna as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form.
Okay, let's just pause there because it's quite a lengthy purport. Any comments or questions here of these first two paragraphs? Okay, so what's the word for qualification in Sanskrit?
I think I know it, but I just it's I forget.
Adhikar.
Adhikar.
Adhikar, yeah. So we cannot demand, like Prabhupada says, that the atheist stubbornly demand to see God before they can actually believe in him. But sorry, sir, it doesn't work like that. You have to become godly first before the Lord might reveal himself. Yeah. So if you're not willing to go through or to become godly in your life, then that means you're not really serious about seeing God. So please don't waste my time, dear atheist. Yeah. If you're those who are actually serious, then we try to learn what it means to be okay. We cannot, we're conditioned souls, but we don't claim we're trying to be completely divine. But by following Krishna's shiksha, by following Krishna's instructions, then we can gain, by serving Krishna, by serving the spiritual master, that's how we gain our qualification. It says here, it's not by studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, by charity, or by piety, or by penances, that one can see the universal form, what alone the four-armed form, and what alone the two-handed form. So hopefully we can accumulate the adhikar or the qualification that Krishna might bless us with his darshan. Yeah. He might bless us, bless us with the darshan in the form of his holy name. So we can pray like that. My dear Lord, please may you reveal yourself in your holy name, the most merciful form that you have come in. But that takes adhikar as well. It takes purification of heart and qualification to actually perceive Krishna's different levels of faith. I had it so I'm going off the track a bit here, but I was just referring to it recently. Where did I put it? Yeah, here, that's good. So, 1 second, just bear with me. I'm going to share something which is interesting. Hare Krishna. Send it to him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Okay, so this is regards to Krishna's revealing himself in regards to one's faith and what aspect of himself he reveals in the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Yeah, so at the stage of Shraddha, so we have to have a certain currency of faith or certain currency of adhikar to receive Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So just to be able to concentrate on the name with joy, without too much distraction, then Krishna's name appears, and that's at the stage of Shraddha. So that's compared to one pice. Yeah, so you get a semblance of the name of Shraddha. Then the next one is the form of Krishna appears. That's called Rupa Yukta Nam. Now that particular type of Nam that you're chanting, if it's at a stage of Nishta, that's compared to 1/8 of a silver coin. So then Krishna, within that name will manifest the form of Krishna. Right? So going further, then there's Guna Yukta Nam. So that means the qualities of Krishna appear. And that's worth 1/4 of a silver coin. I don't mean that literally. It's just this is from Bhagavad Thakur. So the degree of your faith is that the faith you have, is it 1/4 of a silver coin in the holy name? Was it 1/8? So 1/4 of a silver coin. One perceives, this is the stage of ruchi. One perceives Krishna's qualities. Then the next one obviously is Leela Yuktanam. So this is at the stage of attraction, which is a Shakti. Then that's worth 1/2 a silver coin. Then the pastimes become manifest through the chanting of the name. Then Rasatanam. So that means the next one is the actual rasa of relationship and exchange between the lover and the beloved. Yeah, that becomes revealed in the different tastes. And that's at the stage of bhava. So that's a full silver coin. Then there's one above that, Sava Rasha Shiktanam. So that means all the mellows is revealed of your particular relationship with Krishna. Yeah. Stehi Bhav is revealed and the Anubhavas. So that's at the stage of prema. And that's equivalent to 1 gold coin. Right? I thought if you found that interesting. This is from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I just came across it. I was looking for it for some time and I was happy to find it. So I wanted to share it with devotees. It's very nice. So different levels of adhikar is needed. So how can the atheist dare to demand the presence of God before their sight? I mean, it's like ludicrous, you know? Before I believe, I want to see. No, it doesn't work like that. Hare Krishna.
That was very interesting. What you said, all the different,
Yeah,
the way.
I've got it on. I could send it to Chandravali. She could share it with you.
Yeah.
I've made it into a little chart, so it's easy readable. My Guru Maharaj was speaking on this some time back, and he was asking all disciples that we had to memorize these different stages. So that's what I'm trying to do. Rupa Yukta Nam, Guna Yukta Nam, Leela Yukta Nam, Rasa Tita Nam, Sava Rasa Sikta Nam. So the point is that what type of name are you chanting? Okay, you're chanting the holy name, but exactly what, according to your adhikar, what actually are you chanting?
Yeah.
One pice worth or 1/8 of a silver coin or 1/4 of a silver coin?
Yeah. You have a long way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go, but at least we're going. That's good.
Yes.
At least we're going in the right direction. At least
Yes.
we're on the boat. We're going. That's something. All right. Anything else on that? Otherwise, we could perhaps let's have a look. Whoa, long purple. Oh no, we didn't finish this purple, did we? So carry on reading, Mother. Who was reading? It was
Yeah, I'm reading.
go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah.
In this verse.
In this verse, there are some significant words, just like Veda Yagna Yayanai, which refers to study in Vedic literature and subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kinds of Vedic literature, such as the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Samar, and Atharva. and the 18 Puranas, the Upanishads, and the Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras and Mimamsa Sutras, for studying the method of sacrifice. Danai refers to charity, which is offered to a suitable party, such as those who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Similarly, pious activities refers to the Agnihotra and the prescribed duties of the different castes, and the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains is called tapasya. So one can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study the Vedas, etc. But unless he is a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see that universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord. But from Bhagavad Gita we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim an ordinary human to be an incarnation. But this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita, otherwise there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that it enables one to distinguish what is what. The followers of a pseudo-incarnation may say that they have also seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, but that is unacceptable because it is clearly stated here that unless one becomes a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see the universal form of God. So one, first of all, has to become a pure devotee of Krishna, then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. A devotee of Krishna cannot accept false incarnations or followers of false incarnations.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments here? Just finishing. Prabhupada goes into quite some detail on the elaboration of Vedic study or the scriptures here, but none of that is enough. Yeah, it's only when he's devoted to the Lord. So he mentions Kalpa Sutras, the Mimamsa Sutras. Anyone know what the Kalpa Sutras are? Rajikishore, you know what the Kalpa Sutras are?
No, I don't know.
The Mimamsa Sutras, that's Karma Mimamsa.
Would that be desire fulfillment, Kalpa Sutras?
Might be. Yeah, you can look up Kalpa.
Kalpa.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be how to get all your desires fulfilled.
Yeah.
In the Karma Kanda. Yeah, very good. I can look at it after Kalpa, but Mimamsa Sutras, this is said studying the methods of sacrifice. So that's the adherence, the strict following of the rules and regulations for sacrifice gives one the result. So the Karma Mimamsa is called. So in other words, there's no need to invoke a presiding deity. In some sense, it has some senses of being atheistic in that sense. That you just do your duty and the result will come. That's called Karma Mimamsa. If you say the mantras correctly, then you get the result. But they're forgetting the actual sanctioner. The actual sanctioner is Krishna. Yeah, you can disappear. So, and Krishna spoke the Karma Mimamsa philosophy. When did he speak it? About just do your duty.
Yeah, just before the Indra Yagya that Nanda was performing.
Yeah, so forget that demigod Indra, forget that god Indra. We're not dependent upon him. We're dependent on Govardhan. We're dependent on Vrindavan. If we actually just worship Govardhan, then everything will be supplied. So Krishna is quoting the Karma Mimamsa philosophy. Yeah. All right, let's pause there then, and we can pick up next week, unless there's any final questions or comments. And we can pick up next week on text 49, and I think we're probably coming towards the end of the chapter. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. We had over 10 devotees with us, so it's good. Bhagavad Gita is very popular. Wonderful. Hare Krishna. So please, if you have time, tomorrow we'll be reading from the Bhagavatam at the same time. So if you want, you can please join us for that. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Arjuna ki jai.
Jai.
Universal form ki jai.
Jai.
Haribol.
Pancakshara Vishya Namaste Devachan Gita
Hare
Pavani Vaishnavi Namaha.